Hi, my name is Angie Decoster, and I'd like to share my testimony, hoping that it will help somebody that is going through a similar situation. I didn't think I was ready to share my testimony to the whole church, even though I had recently shared with my community group what I've been through. After praying about it, I decided God was telling me to be brave and share it. If I could help someone along the way, it would be worth everything I've experienced. I have several miracles that I want to tell you about. God is the reason why I'm still here. He is the one that has seen me through this and everything that I've been through in my life. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for God. Miracle number one. I was adopted as a missionary from missionary parents in Santa Cruz, Bolivia as an infant. I was raised in a Christian home and taught about the love of God. Jesus was protecting me from the very beginning of my life. I have been attending Regency Park Baptist Church since 2004. I was married, and my husband was in the United States Air Force and stationed at Tinker Air Force Base. We moved to Oklahoma from an assignment in Florida. We had 4 boys: Ryan, Justin, Kyle, and Dylan. In 2005, my world came crashing down. To my utter surprise, my husband of 15 years decided to end our marriage. I had never felt more betrayed and hurt than I did at that time. I quickly became so tired of hurting. I felt ugly inside and out, and I thought maybe if I was prettier, maybe if I was skinnier, maybe if I was so many other things, I was just beating myself up. I didn't see how anything could ever be the same again. I felt helpless. I felt ashamed. I didn't want anyone to know what I was going through, so I made a poor choice and didn't reach out to anyone. Unfortunately, I let my emotions get the best of me, and I made a selfish choice and decided to end my life. I was always a trustworthy employee that never missed work. When I didn't show up at work that morning and hadn't called in to my boss, it raised a red flag. Someone came to my house and checked on me since I wasn't answering my phone. They discovered that I was in a coma and called 911. I was rushed to the hospital, and the doctor told my son Ryan that I probably wouldn't make it through the night until let all my family and friends know. Brother Keith mentioned that he was going home to prepare a funeral sermon. Ryan would have to tell his brothers that I wouldn't make it. But God had other plans for me. A group of my church friends gathered at church that evening and had a special prayer time where everyone was begging God for a miracle healing for me. Prayer is a powerful thing, and I firmly believe God heard the cries of everyone that took time to pray for me. God miraculously saved my life. Miracle number 2. I came out of the coma, and the only concern was my kidneys. They had completely shut down. The doctor said I would be on dialysis the rest of my life. Miraculously, after several months being on dialysis, my kidneys started functioning again. The doctor could not explain why, but I knew why. It was all God, and once again we had miracle number 3. Because of my bad choice of attempted suicide, I lost custody of my boys to their dad. He was living overseas at the time, and I only got to see my boys for the holidays. That was the saddest time of my life, but it was a time I drew closer to God. He was working in me to forgive myself, and later on down the road to forgive my ex-husband. Forgiveness is not easy. For some, it takes longer than others, but you need to ask God to help you forgive someone. He will if you just ask Him and believe it is possible. The boys were very unhappy living with their father, his new wife, and her kids in a foreign country. They wanted to return to Oklahoma and live with me. Finally, after a couple of years, he agreed to send them back to Oklahoma, and the stipulation that I would not be receiving any child support for their care. I quickly accepted the offer and knew that God would somehow provide all the financial support we needed to be together again. God came through again with miracle number 4. One night, some years later, while I was alone, I was watching the movie Amazing Love. It is about the story of Hosea and Gomer as told in the Bible in Hosea chapters 1 and 2. Gomer betrayed and hurt Hosea in the most awful way. But in the end, Hosea forgave Gomer and welcomed her back with open arms. It just hit me that if Hosea can forgive Gomer, I can forgive James. I fell on my knees and cried out to God and said, God, I want to forgive James. Please help me to do that. For years I had been holding all this anger and hurt. I had become very bitter and angry all the time. I was thinking awful things about him. I wanted revenge. Vengeance is mine, said the Lord. The minute I got up from my knees that night, I felt such peace come over me. I cannot explain it. It felt like this load had been lifted off my shoulders. I was free at last. Miracle number 5. Since then, things have not always been perfect in my life. There have been more medical scares. Last October, during a routine exam, I was diagnosed with colon cancer. It was caught early, and they were able to remove the mass. It had not spread to any other parts of my organs and was a huge relief to me and my boys. Another miracle God has done in my life, and I thank God once again. Miracle number 6. As an update, I just had another colonoscopy for my 1-year follow-up, and there was no sign of cancer. I will have to repeat the test in 3 more years. God is the great physician. What I've learned from my experience is that if you ever feel like you cannot go on, if you want to end your life because the pain is too much, cry out to God for help. Ask Him to take away your pain. Ask Him to comfort your heart and give you peace. Go talk to someone about how you are feeling, whether it be your pastor, your community group leader, a family member, or a friend. It's not worth having your family and friends go through the pain of knowing that you wanted to end your life. It's a selfish decision, and I don't think you realize all the time how it will adversely affect your family and friends. It is very painful and devastating to them. When something bad happens, you have 3 choices. You can let it define you, let it destroy you, or you can let it strengthen you. I'm praying that when something bad happens to you, you will let it strengthen your relationship with Jesus as He guides your recovery. Having a rough day, place your hand on your heart. Feel that? That's called purpose. You are alive for a reason. Don't give up. Jeremiah 29:11-12 says, For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. Then you will call on me and come and pray to me, and I will listen to you.